Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. It started with fireworks, the kind of brilliance that made you believe Tyreek Hill would retire a Miami Dolphin. In 2023, the wide receiver delivered one of the most electric seasons in franchise history, torching defenses on a weekly basis and finishing with a record-breaking number of receiving yards. At that point, there was no debate. Whatever controversy followed Hill off the field, whatever distractions he brought with him, the on-field production outweighed it all. He was untouchable. But fast forward just one season, and the picture looks very different. Hill's numbers dipped significantly. After leading the entire league in receiving yards in 2023, he failed to crack the 1,000-yard mark in 2024, finishing with just 959 yards. A total of 29 receivers surpassed him, and the whispers started. Was this a blip, or the beginning of a decline? For a player with Tyreek's price tag and his baggage, the Dolphins had to start asking tough questions. And now, it seems, those internal questions are becoming part of the public conversation. Chris Grier, the Dolphins' general manager, recently offered a glimpse into Miami's stance on Hill's future. He made it clear, the team is not actively shopping its star receiver. But, and this is a significant but, should another franchise come knocking with an offer of 2 first-round picks, the Dolphins would consider making the move. It wasn't a demand, but it was enough to make headlines. Grier opened the door. Now, the question is whether any team in the NFL is bold enough to step through it. It's no secret that blockbuster trades involving multiple first-rounders are rare, especially for wide receivers past their peak. Just ask teams that chase stars and paid a steep price, only to be disappointed. And with Hill's dip in production, not to mention the ongoing off-field issues, including a recent domestic dispute involving his wife Keita, Grier's bar may be too high for reality. After all, franchises don't throw around first-round picks lightly, and Hill, at this stage in his career, may no longer be viewed as the game-breaking, unstoppable force he once was. But what if? There are 31 other teams in the league, each with its own needs, each with its own timeline. There are general managers sitting in war rooms right now, studying draft boards, assessing weaknesses, dreaming of ways to accelerate their team's path to contention. Could one of them be desperate enough? Ambitious enough? Bold enough? Because if someone were to make that offer, 2 first-round selections, perhaps spaced across this year and next, then the Dolphins might just find themselves at a crossroads. Miami hasn't exactly made a habit of using first-rounders in recent drafts. In fact, they've made only one such pick in the last 3 years, selecting defensive end Chop Robinson at number 21 overall in the 2024 draft. And while they do currently hold the number 13 pick in 2025, the opportunity to add 2 more premium assets in a league where elite, young talent is everything could be too tempting to pass up. Imagine this scenario. Miami walks into the 2025 draft with 3 first-round picks. They could go after a franchise quarterback of the future, reload the defense with elite talent, or move up to snag a generational prospect. It would mark a shift in philosophy, from win now with aging stars, to building a sustainable core. Trading Hill wouldn't just be a football decision. It would be a statement about where the franchise sees itself heading in the next 3 to 5 years. But of course, it's not that simple. Tyreek Hill is still a weapon. Even in a down year, he's more explosive than most receivers in the league. His presence forces defenses to adjust, his speed creates mismatches, and his experience is invaluable in tight games. Letting him go, even for 2 first-rounders, would mean betting that the Dolphins can replicate that production elsewhere or reshape the offense around new pillars. That's a gamble. And yet, the very fact that Chris Grier addressed the possibility, however cautiously, suggests that the Dolphins are not dismissing the idea outright. Maybe they've grown tired of the distractions. Maybe they see Hill's value peaking before a further decline. Maybe they want to reset the clock on their roster, get younger, get cheaper, and build something more sustainable. It's not often you hear a general manager speak so openly about the theoretical price of a superstar. That's why the NFL world took notice. Not just because Hill might be on the block, but because the Dolphins are signaling they're open to bold moves. And boldness attracts attention. So now, eyes turn to the other teams. The contenders who are a piece away. The teams with extra draft capital. The franchise is looking to make a splash. Are the Kansas City Chiefs tempted by a reunion? Would a team like the Detroit Lions or Baltimore Ravens consider going all in for a veteran playmaker? Could the Chicago Bears, flush with draft picks and eager to surround Caleb Williams with talent, take the leap? What we know is this: Tyreek Hill's future in Miami is no longer a sure thing. The conversation has started, the price tag has been floated, and the rest of the league is watching. Greer didn't say the Dolphins will trade Hill. But in the NFL, where smoke often leads to fire, his words were enough to spark speculation that won't die down anytime soon. And as draft night creeps closer and front offices grow more anxious to make their mark, don't be surprised if one team decides to test Miami's resolve. All it takes is one bold offer, one call, one team willing to gamble on greatness. Then, everything changes. Still with us? Then show some love. Hit that like button and let us know in the comments. What's your take on the Fins this week? This is not a drill. This is not clickbait. And no, you didn't fall asleep in Madden franchise mode. Josh Allen is a Miami Dolphin. I know. Just take a second. Breathe. Because the NFL just flipped upside down. When the first alert hit phones across the country, people thought it had to be a mistake. Some kind of glitch. Josh Allen, the face of the Buffalo Bills, the guy who stiff-armed the entire AFC East for the last 4 years, signing with Miami? That's not just a betrayal in the eyes of Bills Mafia. It's borderline heresy. But it's real. It's official. The ink is dry. Josh Allen is leaving the cold, snowy walls of Orchard Park and heading to the warm, sun-soaked beaches of South Florida. A move that no one saw coming. And yet, the moment it happened, it kind of made sense. In the most chaotic, soap opera way possible. Let's backtrack. For years, Josh Allen and the Bills were inseparable. Drafted 7th overall in 2018, Allen wasn't just a quarterback. He became the guy. He transformed Buffalo from a cursed franchise into a perennial Super Bowl contender. Big arm, big runs, big moments. And yeah, big heartbreaks. 13 seconds. Arrowhead. The Bengals blowout. The Stephon Diggs saga. The window started looking smaller every year. And then came the 2024 season, and everything cracked. The Bills missed the playoffs for the first time since 2018. The offense was inconsistent, the defense was riddled with injuries, and whispers started growing into full-blown rumors. Was Allen happy? Was there tension with the front office? Was Diggs really the only problem? And then, in a move no one thought they'd ever dare to consider, the Bills let it happen. They restructured. They reset. And Josh Allen hit the market. Most people thought it was posturing, a negotiation tactic. But behind the scenes, Miami was already preparing the bag. And when the Dolphins came calling, Allen answered. Now, here's the part where we dive into the madness of what this means. Because this isn't just any free agency move. This isn't swapping out a linebacker or adding a vet receiver. This is Josh Allen, top 5 quarterback in the league, maybe top 3 on his best day, switching teams in the division. This is LeBron going to the Heat levels of shocking, Kevin Durant to the Warriors levels of hated. And it's happening in the AFC East, a division already brimming with tension. Think about this. The Dolphins, who just 2 years ago were dealing with Tua Tagovailoa's concussions, a shaky offensive line, and questions about whether they had the guy, just went from fast and fun to straight-up terrifying. Allen, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert, and oh, don't forget Mike McDaniel pulling the strings. That's not an offense. That's a video game cheat code. That's speed, strength, and sheer chaos wrapped into one. And if you're the Jets, if you're the Patriots, if you're the Bills now watching from the outside, you're already sweating. Let's not underplay this. Josh Allen joining the Dolphins instantly makes Miami a legit Super Bowl threat. Not a wild card team, not a maybe, they're in it. You give a quarterback of his caliber that kind of arsenal, in that weather, with that coaching staff, you're talking fireworks. You're talking MVP numbers. You're talking revenge tour. Because you better believe Josh Allen knows exactly what this means for Buffalo. He's not just leaving the Bills. He's walking into their house, in their division, twice a year. He's planting a flag. This is personal now. And speaking of Buffalo, where do they even go from here? This isn't like losing a star receiver or a pass rusher. This is the heart and soul. This is the guy whose name was chanted in bars and tattooed on arms across upstate New York. There's no replacement for Josh Allen. There's just rebuilding. Starting over. And for a fan base that spent 20 years searching for a quarterback before he arrived, this feels like waking up from a dream and falling straight into a nightmare. Sure, they've got assets. They can trade. They can draft. But let's be honest, this was their shot. This was the guy. And now he's gone, wearing aqua and orange. There's another layer here too. The Dolphins weren't exactly desperate. Tua had a solid season. He showed growth. He stayed healthy. But you don't pass up Josh Allen. No team would. And Miami made a ruthless, win-now decision. And it could be the one that finally puts them over the top. Because let's not forget, Miami hasn't won a playoff game since the year 2000. 25 years of frustration. 25 years of next year. They've tried every combination. Coaches, coordinators, quarterbacks. Nothing stuck. Until now. Josh Allen changes that. Instantly. And for him, this is a clean slate. No more almost. No more moral victories. This is his shot to write a new chapter. To go from the guy who couldn't get past Mahomes to the guy who made his own path. And you know he'll be coming with fire. With something to prove. With a chip the size of Buffalo on his shoulder. It's poetic in a way. The team he used to beat up on twice a year just became his new home. The city he used to torch just turned into his safe haven. And the franchise that once feared him now welcomes him as their savior. So yeah, the NFL just got wild. Josh Allen is a Miami Dolphin. And if you thought the AFC East was competitive before, buckle up. Because now it's personal. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.